Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the City Council closed session meeting of Tuesday, March 19th, 2024. I now call the meeting to order. Madam Clerk, would you please do the roll call?
Mr. Mayor, let the record reflect that all council is present except for council members Harper and Gamaros.
The record will so reflect. Now's the time for public comments. Public comments will be heard on this item, and it can be, you can talk about anything that's on the closed session agenda. You get 3 minutes to speak. We have at least one person that wishes to address the council. Go right up there and you'll have the floor for 3 minutes.
Okay, well, thank you again. I'm with the Wallace issue. I've seen you now a few times, but I just want to thank you first for at least looking at this problem and hopefully helping me and the city and everybody else get through it. I obviously would love to have more time to discuss it, but what I did instead was I put together 9 questions. I would like to, maybe the city council could ask the city attorney on how I came to this, but it kind of shows up to 18 units couldn't be put on the property if you look at ADU laws and state laws. But if I can back up for just a second, as you know, I purchased a homeless shelter, which probably throughout the years had certain allowances that maybe a normal person wouldn't get. But when I did buy the property and the appellate judge has agreed, this was exactly as it was. When I purchased the property, I got as-built plans, like I said before, for everything that's on the property, and I have signed off job cards for everything on the property. I just want you to know, I never received one citation for a code violation on the property. The only one I received, I appealed, and it turned out the city was wrong on it, and I won the appeal. There's never been a code violation. There was a 3-day notice to abate a nuisance, and the nuisance was there were too many units on the property. There were 14. If you lock hallway doors, there could be 17, but that's the way the homeless shelter had it. But I have as-built plans for all 14 units. We had a citation 3 days to abate a public nuisance, and I gave the city the copies of all my plans, and they said that as-built plans expired, so they're no longer valid. I don't know how that can happen, but let's assume that's the case. They gave me a notice, 3 days to fix it, and they asked the judge to appoint a receiver with the idea that it would go faster. The receivers had the property now for 3 years. There's been fires, there's been vandalism, some 80 phone calls to the police, $15,000 in certain fines, and the property has fallen apart. If you look at the state law and you look at what's there, we filed an SB 330 plan. It's been on the city's desk for over a year. The receiver says they don't want the city to review it. I think this receiver is stalling the process. They only want 6 units. The state and the city, I think, wants affordable housing of 14 units. The property has 14 units. I would like to get with the city and maybe remove the receiver and solve the issue. We could present plans from engineers, the city can approve it, and we can go through the normal process to entitle the property. It has as-built plans already. The state law says 18 units can be there. We're asking for 14.
That's it, thanks. Does anybody else want to speak to the council for a closed session? No? You folks in the back, closed session? You want to come up and speak to us or not? Oh, no, that's good. Okay. So anybody on Zoom?
Yes, Steve Sheldon, please.
Mr. Sheldon, you have the floor for 3 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Can you hear me? Mr. Mayor?
Yes, sir, I can hear you.
Thank you. I just wanted to confirm that that I had properly unmuted my phone. I've done that. Thank you. To add to what Dennis DeLessio said, the city's housing element has a policy in it or a statement that that the city does not want established city residents to be dislocated or to be evicted, which is what the receiver did approximately 3 years ago. The receiver evicted 25 plus residents from the property after Mr. DeLessio had made all of the physical corrections to any of the code violations that were alleged. So that policy, which is to maintain housing for city residents, wasn't followed, and that building has sat empty for 3 years. Since then, there has been homeless that have broken into the building. They've started a fire. I've seen the units that caught fire. It's a mess. Most of the other units look like they're out of a Helter Skelter movie. They're just graffiti everywhere. Would you be not wanting to go inside likely? If the city could step in and let Mr. DeLessio have the plans reviewed by your professional staff, that would be great. And then if they meet your staff's policy guidelines and your own, then they can be approved. There's no reason why this receiver is staying between an empty building that's now a mess because of his lack of maintenance and vigilance over it, and having housing for residents. Please, also in your closed session, please give direction to staff so we can know what's going on. If that is your intent to go that direction, this is the third closed session, which we appreciate, but it would be great to hear something back from staff as to, what is the pleasure of the council and what direction that you think that you may be going. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Sheldon. Anybody else on Zoom?
No, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, we'll close public comments then. Madam Clerk, would you please read the titles?
Thank you. Item 1, conference with labor negotiators pursuant to California Government Code Section 54957.6A. Agency designated representatives: Lori Ann Farrell Harrison, City Manager; Alma Reyes, Deputy City Manager; Cosma Lee, Human Resources Manager; Fani Acosta, Human Resources Administrator; Cara Molina, Finance Director. Name of employee organization is the Costa Mesa Firefighters Management Association. The next 3 items are a conference with legal counsel, existing litigation for 3 cases pursuant to California Government Code Section 54956.9D1, City of Costa Mesa versus D. Alessio, 1963 Wallace Avenue; Garten versus City of Costa Mesa; and Noble versus City of Costa Mesa. The next 4 items are public employment workers' compensation claims. Case numbers are listed on the agenda. Thank you. Oh, this is pursuant to California Government Code Section 54956.9B1. Thank you.
All right, good job. So then if there's nothing else, we're going to adjourn to the community room for our closed session.